Hello everyone and welcome back to the HCW YouTube channel. My name is RateWrestle. I'm checking my audio levels and they are there. And we are back for a UK Indy review. This time around we're doing the Black Country Championship Wrestling's Fall Out event, I believe it was. That was off the cuff because I didn't write that down, which was on the 7th of April 2023. And today we are joined by the one and only The Bastard. And the Commissioner of Black Country Championship Wrestling, R.C Chaos. How are you both doing?
We're good. I'm good. Still alive.
That's the important thing, yeah.
In need of coffee or alcohol, or potentially both.
And a beard replacement, because mine fell off.
Yeah, as I said prior to this, I was very disappointed, but we'll move on from that. Yeah, I could do with a beer, but I'm going to play football after this, which is the worst decision ever. I decided to start playing six-side football. First time last week, I was blown after one run. After one run, I was just playing centre defensive mid for the whole of it. Then
I watched you walk into Allen's and you were blown out your bloody arse. So I don't know how you're running up and down a football.
It's a long walk, so, you know. Less of the abuse. Anyway, so yeah, we're here to review Fall Out. Let's move away from my preambles. So we'll kick it off. So Tom came down to the ring and he announced that the show was dedicated because the passing of Stephen Brown. I wasn't aware of Stephen, so I don't know if you want to give any kind of background into that.
Yeah, so Steve Brown is my best friend from growing up. Ben, that was his dad. His dad sadly passed away around a month ago, but the funeral took place on the Monday, the week of the show.
Oh, okay.
Big Black Country guy, huge Wolverhampton Wanderers fan. It was just right to honour Steve in that way for me personally.
Oh,
and the guys, agreed to do that, and the family agreed and were in attendance. So to kick off with the Black Country Championship match made all the sense in the world. After dedicating the show to Steve.
No, definitely, and it was like a nice thing. And he said Black Country Championship, a gentleman that's walked through and through. It's a good way to kick off. So we did kick off with CJ Rollins versus Shane Hooker. This was a really, really competitive match. It was pretty much like not a long match, but it was a proper one-upmanship match. With some insane moves like Poison Ranas. Hooker hit a Canadian Destroyer and CJ Rollins, which is incredible from the size of CJ Rollins to Hooker. And then there was like a top rope flipping fall that ended with Rollins picking up the win. And we rated it 3 stars. It was a very good opener to kind of kick off the show.
It was absolute quality. Obviously, we had little fall. Shane Hooker, he's absolutely amazing for how short a time that he's been in the business. He's fantastic to recover that quickly and that professionally as well. Yeah. It was like he was straight back on it, and it was a damn good match, and it didn't seem like it was a short match.
Shane Hooker had his first professional wrestling match 1 year, pretty much 2 weeks prior, 1 year to the date, 2 weeks prior to Fall Out, and how well he's come along in that time. It's not only a credit to himself, it's a credit to No Mercy Wrestling and also New Wave Wrestling down in Wales, where he's honed his craft really, and he's able to go in there and perform. And as you say, short match was given longer if I'm shooting, but it didn't feel like it was too short. It didn't feel like it was missing more. It felt perfect. It was a really strong opener to the show.
Yeah, look, the only reason I thought it was, I didn't even think about it being a short match until I saw a cage match and saw it only went like, and I was like, oh, okay.
Me too.
I don't remember it being that short, but yeah, it was a very fun opener. CJ Rollins is incredible, I'm going to be honest. Like, first time I actually saw him live was the first BCCW show I went to.
Yeah.
And he's like a fan favourite there. Like, he just gets the crowd straight up behind him.
Well, that's a credit to him as well, because that wasn't the case when he first arrived in Black Country Championship Wrestling. He's had to work at that, and his rivalry with Lee Hunter is key to where he is now in terms of the fans respecting him, because after the street fight that them two had last July, I want to say, they absolutely tore the place down at Project Empire, and CJ Rollins well deserves to be the Black Country Championship Wrestling FCW Black Country Champion.
That's not a mouthful.
Well, that's what she said.
Good grief. This is a highbrow show. So CJ Rollins retained the title. The reign's so good so far, so I'm looking forward to his next matchup. This was followed by a tag team matchup with the Connors versus Riley. Connors with Riley, not versus Riley, versus Clarkwood. That's the one. So this was my match of the night. I really, really enjoyed this match. This was like the perfect kind of like tag team kind of show off wrestling. If you want to see a good tag team wrestling match, this was it. Because you had the veterans of Clarkwood, so it was kind of like there was a comedy start kind of workout from them guys, and then the heels just had enough of it. Connors and Riley, and just took over completely. They proper know how to work the crowd, especially Connors. Like Connors is like an amazing heel. Then you had the typical beatdown, but the Clark, I think it was Matt Clark, just had like the heat kind of like fire behind him, took it on. But it ended with a blowing tag. Clarkwood tried to pin the wrong man, and then Connors won with a roll up. But it was like the perfect like tag team heel versus good guy. It was a very good match. Like, I read it for 3/4. I really enjoyed
it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of this match. There was some technical difficulties that needed my attention, unfortunately. So I only caught the back end of the match. But even just catching that last, was it 3-4 minutes? I think it was that I got to see. I loved it. But it's the Clarks, and I absolutely love the Clarks. Not to take anything away from Nova and especially Connors, because they are quality, especially Connors. He's brilliant, but I love the Clarks. I ain't never going to not enjoy a match they're in.
Yeah, I think bred for better as Connors and Nova go by now.
Yeah.
They are establishing themselves within Black Country Championship Wrestling. And as you say, quite clearly, wind the crowd up more than you can imagine. And the Clarks being, resident fan favourites from Tipton. It was the Fallout was back on King of the Division, where Nova beat Mark Clark by rolling him up using the tights, and roll up. There you go. And then obviously established himself with Connors later on in the night, and that led to that tag team match. So yeah, perfect start for Bred for Better, really.
Yeah, and I said it was just a very, very good tag team match. Like, I expected it to be good, but it was just like the mixture of the two. So obviously Cartwood are the veterans of the tag team style, but it was just them working the crowd, and then the heels trying to take over. It was a very, very good matchup. And I'm just a Connors mark, I'll be honest. Every match I love seeing him in a match. So
so that was your match of the night. How many stars was it? Sorry, that you rated?
3 3/4.
Okay.
Very good. Really, really enjoyed it. This was followed by the King of the Division Trios match, or Triple Threat, depending on which way you want to call it. So you had the reigning champ, Lucas Cashmere, versus Bull versus Luke Douglas. I nearly did it. I decided I weren't going to do it. So, obviously, this was quite heated up because every man has like a stake for the title. Obviously, Cashmere is the champion. Douglas should have won the match originally, 2 shows ago, but then Bull attacked him. Yes, it was definitely him. And then, obviously, Bull, they drew the King of the Division match, so he thought he should have like a perfect stake to the match as well. It was pretty much at the start, they were just picking on Jack Bull. I was going to he's the slimy bad guy, So they were having none of it. Obviously, Luke hates him. And Luke is obviously going to join in on that. Eventually, he blindsided one of them, got all on top of him. Jack Bull's got some incredible chops, like loud, horrible chops, which you wouldn't expect from someone like him, size of himself, because he's not like a massive guy, but the chops are just loud and horrible. Then it became like pretty much a chop fest where they were all just battering each other. Luke got in control of that with a few super kicks. Then Jack decided to be him, and he hit him with a bout shot while the ref was down, but they ended up with Lucas winning with a roll-up. But this was it was a good match. I rated this 3 stars. It was the same. I rated it the same as the CJ Rollins the title match. It was a good matchup.
Yeah.
I love these guys. Absolutely love them. Casimir, obviously, great champion for BCCW at the moment. Luke Douglas is just phenomenal. I don't think he realises how good he actually is and how much people love him as well. But I've got to say, I am a bastard after all, and I absolutely love Jack Ball. I want him to come out and just beat the shit out of everybody and everything, and I'm happy to see him keep that aggression. Absolutely loved it.
And he's smarmy about it as well, which is the fun
Yeah.
thing. Like, he knows that he's good and he's going to be a prat about it, basically.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's doing his job very well. And, you know, we've talked about Luke Douglas before. Everywhere else that you've seen Luke Douglas, he's someone that you hate. He's that guy. He's that Jack Ball sort of character. So to bring a fresh approach and do something different at BCCW, and the fans actually take to him and love him and want him to do well, to have someone like Jack Ball on the opposite side going up against him is key. And, you know, their no holds barred match on June 9th at Hard Times is going to be, well, stiff.
That's
it's going to be horrific. It's not in a bad way horrific, but like horrific as in, oh God. Because Luke...
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
in
Luke...
its own little psychotic way.
Yeah, like Jack stiff, as you say, in the ring, like striking wise. Luke, when you see him at Kamikaze against the younger guys, he just kicks the crap out of them. So it's going to be a train wreck, basically, is a nice way of putting it, which sounds weird. And then obviously Kashmir retained, and he's going to be... Actually, we'll continue that after the match. Thinking about it, because that might spoil the review a bit. So we're up next. We had so it was going to be Leon Slater, but I believe he was injured, so he couldn't turn up at the for the show. Was it? Or
no, we had a family event that he needed to attend. So no Leon Slater, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but he was replaced by a good person, which was Kid Lycos.
What a replacement!
What a good replacement that is. Against Lee Hunter.
Chaos, he's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he? And he was facing Lee Hunter, which I have to explain every time I do these reviews, that Lee Hunter makes no sense in this company. Like, it's in Tipton, like Lee Hunter's home turf, and he's booed out the arena, and it makes no sense.
And it's great.
Yeah, I know, I love it, but it's just it's like the multiverse, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm the Batman.
But yeah, he's so good at it as well. So good at it, but like it just because it's Tipton, like everywhere he goes, he's a fan favourite. Everyone shouts tits at him. In Tipton, he's getting booed.
Yeah. Go back and watch some of the footage. You'll see why. It's brilliant.
You can't buy books for that. If Lee's going to go out there and be a dick, then Lee's going to get booed. And that's what he does. He's the chairman. He's the bellman. You name it. Lee's done it all. So he's going to get booed.
Like, to perfectly sum up, the first word I've got in my notes here was shenanigans. It started with him versus Lycos was just like complete shenanigans. Like it was like a Benny Hill sketch at one point. They came out one side of the arena and came out the other. There was spots, if I remember, where Lee Hunter was on a chair, Lycos ran around the ring, did the usual. Then Lee tried to do it and it wasn't happening. And then Lee just started to cheat, which you kind of expected at this point. There was a low blow. He was just cheating continuously. Lycos did his usual thing of trying to go for a brain buster, but shouting out that he's going to go for a brain buster, and then obviously that was never happening because he kept shouting out. But eventually, he did actually hit a brain buster and win the match with this brain buster. So this, I rate this 3 stars as well. So like, there's a theme going on. But yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed like it's a different element. Like you had the hard bit in match previous, and this had a bit more of the comedy spots, but like there was good wrestling. And Lee Hunter just being an absolute dickhead, and it was really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I've seen Lycos online, and I didn't know what to expect to see him against Lee Hunter because. Like we said, Lee Hunter is this arsehole of BCCW, and it's brilliant. But to see Lycos come into this kind of match the way he did, it was absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of this. And even the little clips I've shown my kids so far, they all loved it as well. Lycos is now a little fan favourite out of nowhere after just one match. And a lot of that as well, other than himself, is down to Lee. Because he's that little shitty that you want to slap, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Which again, you just flipping a dynamic. This is something outside of Tipton, you'd be like, what is going on? And even in Tipton, you're still going, what is going on? But Kid Lycos turned up, makes his debut, absolutely becomes a fan favourite. Oh, here's a coffee. Thank you. How are you doing? Thank you. And absolutely just turns things on its head. Like you say, shouting Brainbuster out. People normally respond to that with shut up, Lycos. Not one person was telling him to shut up. In fact, people were encouraging Lycos to hit the Brainbuster. So when it eventually happened and he got the win from it, people were like, what the fuck's going on?
He's actually done it. Yeah. Maybe that's what he's got to learn, though, that, you know, if the fans are behind him, he's going to hit the Brainbuster. So maybe he needs to...
It's like Ric Flair going to the top rope, and he's going to keep trying until he hits it.
Exactly. Same dynamic. But a little exclusive for you for June 9th at Hard Times. Kid Lycos will return.
Excellent. Yeah, that's definitely good, especially from that showing. Like, the fans loved him, and to build on it, at least he's not just disappearing. So really looking forward to Lycos being back. I still think the on-air authority figure, as we said, I thought that was going to be me, but we're not going to go there.
Listen, you're going to put that Commissioner Chaos out of a job. We can't do that yet. He's only just got his bloody slippers under the table.
We definitely ain't getting him in as the sound guy.
No.
Yeah, it's probably not. Let's not discuss that. That was a behind-the-scenes thing that went terribly wrong. So moving on. So we had a match with 2 debuts, I believe, for BCCW. I know Bullet hasn't been there before. I don't know if James Mason's been there prior to myself.
Yeah, James Mason has wrestled on a couple of occasions for BCCW, yeah.
Yeah, so this was the second time I was seeing himself. I only recently saw him at PWL last month as well, so this was nice seeing him twice in a row. He's proper old school, James Mason, and Bullet is stupidly big. Like, like, he's one of these guys, like my co-host DP who does the progress shows. He said, he's a big guy. And I went, oh, yeah, he looks big on his promos. And you just look at him and go, yeah, okay, fair enough. So this was your typical old school kind of matchup. James was trying to, like, get the big guy down. He was attempting body slams, which always works when a man's massive. You should always attempt a body slam.
Without a doubt.
I wrote here cactus spot, and then it took me a moment to remember which one, because I was thinking, did James Mason do like the elbow drop on the Conqueror? And I don't remember that. And then it just clicked. He got caught up in the rope neck-wise, which is horrific to see. Like, I always think of the obviously the Mankind, it ripped here, so people actually still attempting to do that. Good for them.
That's one way to put it. That was definitely a shock spot.
It was.
I just didn't expect it to happen at all, and it was just, oh my god. And at one point, I actually genuinely thought it just happened. I just thought, oh no. And then Bullet wasn't helping him at all. He was just cogging the tie-in a bit more. And then Bullet won with a kind of like old school standing choke, like stand-up choke, which I haven't seen for, like, I remember Carly doing it years ago, but it was like a proper old school finish of that, is where you standing choke.
Yeah, no matter what James Mason tried, it seemed that Bullet had an answer for it, and then once his neck got voiced in the top ropes, that was the end of it really. From there, Mason was struggling to recover from that point.
Yeah. I rated 2.5 stars. I did enjoy it. I don't think it was as good as the other matches, but that's because it's a different kind of variation. It's kind of a bit more of the old school Bullet just beating the crap out of a man, basically. But James Mason's so good at crowd work, as in, like, no matter where he is, he just gets the crowd behind him instantly. From his music to
rocking all over the world, isn't it?
And then Shall I, the good old, it was like the good old, Shall I?
Shall I? Can we just actually point out, I know this, we should have mentioned this earlier, but on the subject of Shall I's, when Clarkwood made their entrance and grabbed the biggest pack of pork scratchings that you can find in the Black Country, I was on commentary for this, and that was a huge shall I moment, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was the size of, like, when you buy a 6-pack of ready salted, the actual bag. That's the size of how many sports scratchings in there.
£3, best scratchings you'll get in a black country. Get your self down to
Always buy 2 bags, because you definitely they will run out.
They're dead good.
Yeah, scratchings are brilliant.
Might tell you hear the commentary on that one.
I'm hoping it's like, oh my god, scratchings or something like that. I'm not going to do the Joey Styles version of it.
The other exclusive for you, you're going to get 2.
Joey Styles is coming in. Oh, no.
Maybe. This whole show, so Fallout, will be released completely for free, so everybody will be able to watch Fallout.
Okay, so whenever that's in, this probably will be out prior to it, I'm assuming. But what I'll do is, in eventuality, I'll whack the link in the description whenever it does actually come out as well. But yeah, it was definitely a fun show, so you should check it out. And that's the reason my notes are not as detailed, because I like people to watch the show. That's what I'm going with. So yeah, we kicked off into a 5-way, which was a Lunar Blue, Bevan, Kean Fox, TJ Sky, and Lucia Lee. So a Lunar Blue, instantly I have to pick out the shoes, the neon blue shoes. They were just went so well. I just couldn't keep my eyes off them.
Yeah.
Like a child.
Just the shoes.
Just the shoes.
That's it. I don't remember any rest. I don't remember the match. But yeah, so at the start, basically what happened was there was this usual like brawl between everyone, and it ended up with TJ Sky and Lunar Blue being in the middle of the ring. So from the previous show, Luna, was it her ankle or a knee? It
was her ankle.
And TJ Sky surprisingly was nice enough to help her out of the building. And so TJ Sky decided now this is the time to call in on that favour. And he said to Lunar Blue, I was nice enough to do this, so lie down so I can pin you. So she went to lie down, and then obviously she kicked out. It was never going to happen.
Rolled him up, didn't she?
Yeah.
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 Talk about a time fair play.
There was a lot of different things in here. So you had you had the, obviously, recently Bev was kicked out of the BDK. Lucy Lee, the leader of the BDK. So there was a bit of altercations between them. Bev full-on headbutted her, which was a very fun and surprising, like, out-of-nowhere thing. I was thinking, what's going to happen? Just full-on nut down.
Welcome to Tip.
And then there was a bit of teamwork between Luna and Bev, because Luna helped Bev out from that previous BDK side of it as well, where she came down with a bat, if I remember, which was out of nowhere. Then it was the usual shenanigans, 5-way, everything's happening all at once, so what's happening kind of thing. Then BDK were down at ringside and they kind of jumped the Bev, and he kicked out of the final move, but then eventually Lucia did pick up the win.
That's after she took out Key and Anna with a steel chair.
Yeah, she like, I for some reason didn't write the chair shot, but I have a perfect image of the chair picture in my mind. So she kind of wiped out everyone, and now she picked up the win. All right, 2 3/4 stars. I really enjoyed the match. This has led now to Lucia Lee is going to be fighting Lucas Cashmere at the next show. That's what I was going to bring up earlier, but I thought, ruin the review if I do that now. But yeah, it was a very, very fun match. The dynamics in there, like everyone had a bit of a dynamic, and then you have Kean Fox in the middle of it, who's just a complete sleazeball, which is the perfect way of doing it.
It's a good story-related 5-way, watching this. Like, Kean in the middle of everything going on, going, what the fuck, and just beating everybody.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter. Kean was just there to win. And that's what he was about. He needed to win. And obviously, Lucia and her little shenanigans, as you like to put it, screwed that up with a chair shot.
And that's right. Ultimately, on paper, Kean Kelly is the favourite going into this match.
100%.
He's the man that is definitely, on paper, walking away as number 1 contender to go after the championship. That's what he said he wants. He's the sly tactician. He's going to find a way to get the job done. He's going to win the championship. That's what he's here at BCCW for. But the BDK always have a way. And that followed through for Lucia Lee at Fallout.
Yeah, well, that's under the title championship. And Keon Fox as well. He's he's bigger than you expect, like size wise. Yeah, like you don't picture him to be that big, but like in that match, like everyone was quite shorter than Keon Fox, so you could pick it out from it. So he said that probably gave him an advantage as well. But yeah, Lucia Lee did pick up the win, and she will be fighting for the championship. And then we kick off to the main event, which was a debut in Yeston Reese versus Dan Maloney.
If I talk about big men,
big men hitting each other. In my head, I don't know if this happened. I don't know if I'm having a pipe dream right now. It's Yeston Reese was coming down to the ring, and his music went a bit funny, if I remember. Am I lying about this?
No, that actually happened, and he went backstage and he threatened the guy that was running the stuff backstage, and threatened to kill him. Yeah, and then come back out. It was dead good.
Yeah, in my mind, I thought it did happen. I was like, I can't remember if that actually was a thing, but yeah. So obviously Dan Maloney, fan favourite here. Surprisingly, in the bizarro world of BCCW, Dan Maloney is the fan favourite here. So he's actually loved in Tipton, which you'd be surprised that he should be. So not everything's mental. So this was your typical working over like the hot kind of crowd behind Dan Maloney. Yeston Reese was trying to kind of stem the crowd. He's a bigger guy, but there was just no way. Dan Maloney's just like undeniable at the moment. Everywhere he's just, if for anyone that doesn't watch New Japan, he's just joined the United Kingdom.
Trying to keep a bulldog satisfied as he's going on.
Okay, look, that just sounded like a weird pun euphemism kind of thing because I didn't hear the dog in the background. So Yeston was trying to deliver like a bit of power game, but it's kind of hard against someone like Dan Maloney because Dan is a powerful guy. He slimmed down a bit, but he's still a beast of a man. There was another low blow. So there's a trend on this show. People like to hit people in the dick.
Did you like a good cock shot?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good cock shot?
And there was Dan Maloney kicked out. Yeston kicked out a spear. But in the end, Dan Maloney did pick up the win, and he sent the crowd home happy. All right, this one as well, 2 3/4 stars. Good matchup. Showed both guys, and Dan Maloney said he's just undeniable in the BCCW at the moment.
Dan's absolutely fantastic. Like you say, he just joined part of the Empire now as well. When it's just fair play to him, it's well deserved. He deserves that, and he's going to have great success going forward, without a doubt. And I loved seeing the size of Yeston next to Dan, because Dan ain't no small man.
Yeah.
And Yeston just made him look tiny.
Ultimately, to date, this was Dan Maloney's biggest test in the ring at BCCW.
Yeah. And
Yeston was picking him up like a toddler.
Yeah.
He had him carried over his shoulder, walking around the ring.
Yeah.
As we've said, Dan Maloney is no small man.
Yeah, like he's leaned down. He's
just like, yeah. Bag of scratchings over my shoulder. Jobs are good.
Yeston got excited for the scratchings. He must have thought it was Dan.
That might be the final line of the review. I might just get that.
Good one.
It's a way to do it.
So that was the main event. Like overall, the show was really, really good. As I said, like the man of the match. The match of the night was the tag team match. I'd say it was just like the perfect kind of show, bro. The tag team division. Some great matches. Nice to see Lycos is going to be coming back as well. And it showed out a lot of fallout for the next show, which works, pun intended, in that lot. But yeah, so that's the end of the review, unless there's anything else you want to bring on board.
Well, just make sure that we're checking out, looking out for everything to do with BCCW on all the socials, leading towards Hard Times, which is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good show. Tickets are on sale, so I'll whack them in the description. And the Twitter handle of BCCW was underneath yourselves, but you are also on Instagram and stuff like that will be in the description as well. Is it the same, your Instagram, or is it slightly different, the handle?
Yeah, it's the same. BCCW 2021. That's
what I like about you guys. Just the same handle everywhere. Like you have someone that'll have that, and then you have like BCCW 20-21 or something like that. Be like, that's not helpful.
It's almost like the person setting up the socials knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So yeah, as usual, like and subscribe to the channel. We'll bring more reviews and previews of the BCCW and any other shows that are out there that want to jump on board. Comment down below what you enjoyed about the show. If the link is already in the description by the time you've watched this of the show, comment how you enjoyed the show on demand. But yeah, that's goodbye from myself then.
Bye.
I was hoping Matilda would say goodbye as well, but nope.
He's fell asleep now.